Not every signing turns into a success story. Some simply flop due to poor form, injuries, bad timing, or just being the wrong fit for a new club. The 2025 season has already produced its share of underwhelming recruits. Whether it's big money not delivering, or gambles that haven't paid off, here's a breakdown of the worst signings of the year so far. A cruel twist of fate for one of rugby union's rising stars, Carter Gordon was seen as one of the boldest cross-code experiments in recent NRL history. The former Wallabies fly half joined the Gold Coast Titans with major expectations and was reportedly impressing early in pre-season under Des Hasler's regime. His agility, passing game and rugby IQ had tongues wagging at training. But before he could even lace up for a trial, Gordon was sidelined with a rare and serious back injury that's since ruled him out indefinitely. It's not his fault and everyone's hopeful he makes a full recovery, but from a recruitment standpoint it's been a lost investment so far. With the Titans already struggling to find their rhythms in the halves, Gordon's absence has left a big hole in Hasler's plans. If he returns fully fit in 2026, this may just be a delayed success story, but for now, the wait continues. John Bateman's career trajectory in the NRL has taken a steep nosedive since his stellar 2019 campaign with the Raiders. Following an unhappy stint at the West Tigers, the move to North Queensland was meant to reignite his form and bring some steel to the Cowboys' forward pack. Instead, Bateman has become one of the most disappointing back rowers in the comp. Through the opening rounds, Bateman leads his team in missed tackles with 22 and has averaged just 77 running meters per game. The energy, aggression and line-breaking ability that once defined his game seems to have vanished. He looks slow, disconnected and ill-suited to the Cowboys system. And for a club with premiership aspirations, Bateman's signing has so far delivered negative value on both ends of the field. Isaiah Papali'i was tipped to rediscover his destructive best after joining a championship-winning setup at Penrith. Fans hoped that leaving the dysfunctional West Tigers behind would spark a revival of the barnstorming forward who helped take Parramatta to the 2022 NRL Grand Final, but it just hasn't happened yet. In fact, Papali'i's form seems to have dipped even further. He struggled to impose himself in attack and his defence hasn't been up to Penrith's usual standards, and he's failed to consistently finish games with high impact. Incredibly, the Panthers have only won one game with him in the side. Although it's early days, the Panthers know him for his high standards and Papali'i might soon find himself fighting for a spot if things don't turn around quickly. The Dragons were taking a bit of a gamble when they brought in Lachlan Ilias from South Sydney. And after being dropped by the Rabbitohs in 2024, Ilias was seen as a projected player with potential if given the right guidance and time. Unfortunately, that patience is wearing thin in Wollongong. Ilias has managed just one try assist and is averaging 58 run meters a game, numbers far too low for a starting halfback. He's struggled to organise the attack, his kicking game has been inconsistent, and he appears to lack confidence under pressure. Following a poor showing against Parramatta, there's already talk that he could be dropped, as he has been dropped in the first couple rounds of the season. Unless he can drastically improve, the Dragons might be forced to go back to the drawing board. Touted as the long-term solution in the Rabbitohs' number 7 jersey, Lewis Dodd was a marquee signing from the UK Super League, arriving with high expectations. After leading St Helens to multiple titles and starring in a World Club Challenge victory, many believed Dodd had the skill set to thrive in the NRL, but things couldn't have started worse. After a poor trial campaign, he was immediately dropped to New South Wales Cup. When a window finally opened for a first grade return, he managed to get himself suspended instead. To make matters worse, he's now considered the 4th choice halfback at the club behind Dean Hawkins, Jack Whiten when shifted, and a potential reshuffle involving Cody Walker. A complete disaster so far. Unless he stages a serious turnaround, Dodd risks being remembered as one of the great flops from England. The veteran halfback's move to the Roosters raised eyebrows even before the season began. Originally brought in as a depth option, Townsend was thrust into the top side when Sam Walker suffered a devastating ACL injury. With the Roosters still considered title contenders, fans hoped Townsend's experience would keep them competitive, but that hope faded fast. Townsend looked out of place from his first outing, failing to control the game or contribute effectively in attack. His short kicking game misfired regularly, and his lack of spark became a clear liability. It didn't take coach Trent Robinson long to drop him, and with his replacement already showing better promise, Townsend's NRL career may be nearing its end. The question remains, why was he signed in the first place? A young talent with size, strength and aerial ability, Junior Tupou was a fan favourite during his time at the West Tigers, even during tough times. His move to the Dolphins was expected to unlock his potential under the masterful coaching of Wayne Bennett, but just 2 rounds into the season, Tupou was already out of the side. In those 2 matches, he failed to register a try and made 5 costly errors. Defensively, he looked vulnerable, and his decision making under the high ball was shaky at best. He was quickly demoted to Queensland Cup and hasn't been seen in first grade since. At just 21, there's still time for him to rebound, but for now, this signing hasn't worked out for the Dolphins, who are desperate for consistent outside backs. After dominating the Super League with Lee and earning high praise as the UK's best front rower, Tom Amone returned to the NRL in 2025 with major expectations. The Bulldogs locked him down on a 2-year deal, with Phil Gould touting his arrival as a key boost to their forward stock. But despite an impressive resume and a 2023 Challenge Cup title, Amone failed to break into Cameron Ciraldo's top 17 at any stage during the season. Instead, he spent the year toiling away in New South Wales Cup, with younger forwards like Daniel Suluka-Fifita and Jack Todd leapfrogging him in the pecking order. Now 28 years old, Amone has been granted an early release and is tipped for a return to the Super League, with Hull KR and Lee leading the chase for his signature. A comeback that promised much has ended with barely a whimper. Once a marquee signing expected to bring toughness and experience to the Tigers' rebuild, Jack Bird's 2025 season has been anything but. On a $400,000 a season deal, Bird was seen as a surefire starter, but has instead found himself on the outer. Struggling to break into the 17, Bird has spent much of the season in the New South Wales Cup, unable to convince the coaching staff of his value in a younger, faster squad. Injuries and inconsistency have once again haunted his campaign, leaving fans questioning whether the investment has paid off. For a player of Bird's pedigree, it's been undeniably underwhelming chapter. Signed from the Titans with the expectation of filling the halves void left by Shaun Johnson, Tanner Boyd's time at the Warriors has been puzzlingly quiet. Despite arriving with promise and first grade experience, the 24-year-old is yet to play a single NRL game for the club in 2025. Stuck behind Luke Metcalf, Tamare Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita, with rising stars Luke Hanson and Jake Cleary also pushing through, Boyd has slipped completely off the radar. Coach Andrew Webster has remained coy about his future, but Boyd's lack of opportunity has fueled speculation of a move to the Cowboys. Once considered the future of the Titans spine, he now finds himself at a crossroad. That's the end of this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, if I'm being harsh on any players, or if you think I'm being realistic. With that being said, make sure to subscribe if you're new. We'll see you in the next video, and goodbye.